Hello everybody, welcome to St. Olaves Mock 3 video walkthrough. So we're starting off with the comprehension section and let's do a quick summary of the text. We have a passage here about diurnal and nocturnal. Now I didn't even know what diurnal meant before reading this passage, but I can assume that if we're talking about nocturnal, nocturnal is about the night and diurnal is about the day. So in this passage, we focus on the differences between some animals, and we're focusing specifically on the owl. We have a lot about the owl's ability. It can see in the dark. What do people think? Do people think that it can see with its eyes, or do they hear? So it's just talking about how these owls have adapted to find their prey and use their senses even in the dark. So question number 1, read the following paragraph, answer below. Butterflies feed primarily on nectars. Vision is well developed in butterflies and they use this to navigate during daytime hours. This is the most important, and given the information in this question, what can we deduce? So we know for a fact that the butterfly is diurnal because it operates during daytime hours, and it doesn't say that it hunts, it gets his food from plants and stuff. Therefore, it would be only the first one is correct. Question number 2, being nocturnal is helpful to animals. Why? And over here it says this means less danger. They can look for food when most predators are asleep. Therefore, for question number 2, we can say it's food and danger and competition. Therefore, it's both 2 and 3. Question 3, which of the following explains how owls are able to see in the dark? So we're going to focus here because this is the part in the paragraph where they talk about how owls can see. Many people think it's because their eyes can gather more light. However, this is not the case. They are actually focused on the brain, and where does it say the brain? Over here. So that's how they interpret between light and dark. Therefore, the only one that answers the question here, because it doesn't mention the owl's head rotation, we know that its brain is what allows it to see the difference between light and dark. Question number 4, why does the author mention a hawk? So it says here, for example, an owl may see the darker form of a rat running across the even darker background of a field, whereas a hawk could not. The hawk can see the difference, but this difference is too subtle for the brain to distinguish. Why is that important? So all of these techniques, you can say to an extent that these are all correct. However, C, to make an argument, makes the most sense, because why are we naming a competitor? Why are we comparing strategies? Because we're making an argument about something that the owl can do, but the hawk cannot. So the hawk can probably see really well, but the owl can differentiate between different colors of darkness, which the hawk can't do. Therefore, all of it is building an argument. Question number 5, according to the passage, both owls and mice have a heightened ability to do what? So mice use their noses and ears, and they're also nocturnal, and they have an excellent sense of smell and hearing. The only one the owl and the mice both do is use their hearing, because owls do not use their smell to detect food. Therefore, the answer would be C, hearing. For question 6, we are adding a conclusion at the end of the passage. So for question 6, we need to see through the options, and B and D are the same one. So I'm just going to make a note of that over here. We have, unlike most other animals, the owl is a nocturnal animal. Now, the reason this cannot fit the best is because it specifically focuses on the owl. We have many different animals it talks about, such as the mice, it also mentions hawks at some point to further its argument. Therefore, this would not be the best. And C, it says that we're focusing a bit too much on mice and owls. It's not really making a general point, which is what conclusions normally do. So let's get rid of that. The best options would be B and or D. And what these ones do is it makes a general statement, and it notices and it realizes the point we're trying to make. We're talking about nocturnal animals. So it says it has advantages, it has challenges, but we talk about some of the examples that we talk about in the text. Therefore, this is an all-rounded well conclusion. So comprehension 2 is about the GPS, and it's giving reasons of how it's superseding old technology such as paper maps, and it's telling us that it's making an argument for that we shouldn't stop teaching. This paragraph is talking about how we should not stop teaching map reading in schools because we will become lazy, we can't trust the device, so we have to make sure we are learning how to read maps in case it stops working. So now that we've summarized the text, we can begin reading the questions. And number 7, according to the passage, people can use maps to learn what? Going back to the text, it says people can learn new distances, directions, and the location of landmarks. Therefore, it will be 1, 2, and 3, solution D. Question number 8, what does the word superseding mean? So let's find that back in the text. It talks about while these traditional maps have served well, a new kind of map is rapidly superseding them. So this sort of means to me that something is surpassing the old maps or it's doing better. Therefore, it's not really defeating because I think that's a bit too strong of a word for just maps and GPS. However, replacing, because renewing means to like keep the same thing, but replacing means that it's completely knocking it out. No, people aren't using maps anymore because they are reading the GPS. Question number 9, to better understand how it works, imagine that travel is lost. Why did the author say that? So the author is clearly using an example because he is trying to argue a point, but this is a specific technique of using an example to illustrate a point. Question number 10, what does the author think that being too dependent on technology will do? Using a direct quote from the text, it says, when you become too dependent on technology, they can become lazy. Therefore, question number 10, we have solution D. Based on the use in the final paragraph, which word does device, which group does it belong to? So let's find the word device over here. We cannot simply trust a device. What will we do when it stops working? So this device is helping us. It's sort of like a tool. It is definitely, I guess this is the most you could think it is this one. However, gadget, tool, instrument is much more appropriate for this word because it's not really a vehicle or an automobile. It does work in cars. However, this would be the best fit. Question 12. The author apparently believes that learning to read paper maps, he definitely thinks that it's still very important that we know how to read paper maps. Therefore, he definitely does not think it'll be useless. It's not more important than typing. That's not what he says about typing. It's not less important. The only solid answer is A. We are going to be starting off with the math section, and we're starting off with question number 1. For this one, we are going to do multiple bus stops, and I'm just going to draw them here because I always like to draw a diagram. So we start off with 24 people, and then at this point, 4 people got off, some people got on, so working with around 20. This, let's say x plus x. At the second stop, no one got off, but 3 people got on. We're going to add 3, and then that is all equal to 34. So if we have 24 minus 4 plus x, so 24 minus 4 is 20, we end up with 20 plus x plus 3 is equal to 34. Therefore, we end up with 23 plus x, and I'm just going to carry on here so you can see 23 plus x is equal to 34. Therefore, x is equal to 34 minus 11, which is 34 minus 23, which is going to be 11. Our answer is E. So for question 2, we are using the nth term, and we know that our n, so our n is equal to 1, our n is equal to 2 and 3, so n is the position. We need to try and find the nth term. So we have in this one 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, in this one 4, in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grey tiles. So if in each position our nth term is, what are we adding each time? Plus 2. So we're going to have 2n plus nothing is equal to the number of grey tiles. How many grey tiles do we have? Let's just try this out so we know it's correct. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 2 times 2 is equal, 2 times 1 is equal to 2. We have 2 grey tiles. 2 times 2 is 4. We have 4 grey tiles, etc., etc. If we know we have 28 grey tiles, we're going to do 2n is equal to 28. Therefore, our n, or our position, is going to be 14. We know that every time if we have the n position is 1, we have n plus 1 white tiles. For example, n position 3, the third position, we have n plus 1 tile. So if n is equal to 14, therefore n plus 1 is going to equal to 15. For question 3, we need to find how many students took part in the survey, so we need to find the frequency of each one. In this one, we have 6, 7, we have 5 and 5, we have 6 again, we have 9, we have 8, and we have number 4. Let's add this up. 6, 7 is 13, 18, 23, 29, 38, this is going to be 46, and then we have 50 in total. For question 4, let's try and find these lengths. The length is 27 and the width is 13. We're given these figures over here and over here. Therefore, we can find out the entire length. So they make a square. If one side is 27 plus 13, that gives us 40. Therefore, the total perimeter is going to be 40 times 4 because it is a square. We can do that. We end up getting 160. So over here for question 5, we are given very important markings, such as this one. This shows us that these two angles are equal. If that's x and that is x2, how many degrees in a triangle in total? We have 180 degrees. So to find x first, we are going to do 40. Nope, we're going to do 180 minus 40 minus 2x. And then we can, is equal to 2x because 2x is going to give us, this makes up 180 minus 40 because in total there are 180 degrees. So we have 140 is equal to 2x, therefore x is equal to 70. If we know x is equal to 70, we're on a straight line over here. Therefore, y is going to be equal to 180 minus 70. That's that. We have 110, which is going to be E. This guy in question 6 goes to a concert. It was 3 hours. 3 hours is equal to how many minutes? 60 times 3. And that gives us 180 minutes in total. We stay for only 15% of it. 15% means 15 over 100. We're going to multiply by how many we have in total, which is 180. Now let's go and start to cancel out. Cross out zeros, and then 5 goes into 10 2 times, goes into 15 3 times, and I'm going to do 9. 9 times 3 is equal to 27. He stays there for only 27 minutes. For question 7, let's have a look at what happens when we roll the dice. When do we get more than 6? So just for this purpose, I've listed down the totals you get when you roll 2 dice. We never get 1 because you have 2 dice, and even if you get 1 and 1, you're going to have a total of 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to note these down, and I'm going to write down the combinations, the total combinations of how you get what the scores are when you roll the dice and you add them together. Now to get 2, 2, we can make that out of 1 and 1. And remember, each thing you have double the possibility because you can have one, say we have 2 dice and you have A and B. So if you have 2 dice A and B, and you want to make 3, for example, you get 2 here, 1 here. You can also make 3 getting 1 on dice A and then 2 on dice B. So we have double that possibility. So when they're the same, they count as 1. When they're different, you have to double the chance of getting them. So you can make this out of 1, 1. This is going to be 2, 1, also 1, 2. Then this is where we start getting different. We can make 2, 2, or, and I'm going to zoom in, 3, 1, and then we have 5, we can be made out of 3, 2, and then 4, 1. We can make this out of 2, 4, 3, 3, and then 1, 5. This can be made out of 4, 3, 6, 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then, yep, 6 ones there. We can make 4, 4. Then we have to make 5, 3, and that's it. Oh, and then 6, 2. We can't make 1 and 7 because we're on a dice. So we have 9, which is 5, 4, 6, 3, and then that's it. We have only 5, 5 over here. We have only 6, 5 over here. And then 12 is 66 and 6. That's the only way you can make it. Now we have how many do we have in total? Is going to be, we only count these ones once. So we're only going to count these ones once, the one where they're the same. So that's 5, 5, 6, 6, 3, 3, and then 4, 4. Those are going to be counted, and then 2, 2. Everything else we have to count twice because remember you can get it on dice A or dice B. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Total we have 32. Now, what's the probability of getting a total of more than 6? Remember, 6 is not included. Let's change to a different color. We are looking at all of these totals because you have to get more than 6. Not equal to 6, but more than 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. So we have about more than midway. And which one is about more than midway? We have solution E. Let's change that to red, and we have one that's slightly more than midway. For question 8, it says that Karen takes some time walking in the morning to get to school. And how much time does Karen spend walking? We see that this is a half line, it's a diameter. And so if it's half, we already know that this is going to be 20 minutes. And these are angles. This is 1/4, and then this is 1/8. So we know she's walking here. Let's put this in a different color. She's walking here and there. Otherwise, she's standing still or she's on the bus. So if we have 1/4 of 40, it's going to be 10 minutes. And then 1/8 of 40, we do 40 divided by 8, which is going to equal to 5 minutes. Add them together, we get 10 plus 5, 15. For 9, we're just going to write out some conversions. We have 750 grams is equal to 90p, and we're going to try and manipulate this so we can get to 1,000 grams, because that is 1 kilogram over here. So let's divide both sides by 3 so we can get, and I'm going to scroll over so you can see this, divide by 3, 30p. If we found 250 grams, we just have to times both sides by 4 to get £1.20. That gives us the answer B. The average here is going to be some total divided by 3, because average is equal to total divided by 3. And this average is going to be 3. So if this is x, which is our total, x is equal to 3 times 3. We're going to multiply both sides by 3 to get 9. We know 2 of these numbers are the same. So the quickest way to make a 9 out of 2 numbers being the same is 4 plus 4, which is 8, plus 1. So our third number is 1. For 11, let's draw our bearing sign. I'm going to scroll over. And we have north here. If you want to do never eat shredded wheat, we have northeast going 45 degrees in, and south is over here. So we've got an obtuse angle. We're going from northeast to south, and let me do this in a different color. And how do I find this angle? We're going to do, this is definitely 90, and if we're going halfway in between north and east, then we know then that's going to be halfway of 90, which is going to be 45. So if that's 45, then what is the total angle? We're going to have 90 plus 45, which is equal to 135. So we get E. So for 12, we've got simultaneous equations. So 1B, balloon pump, let's call it that. Actually, let's call it P, because it's balloon pump. So pump plus 3B, so 3 balloons, is equal to 9. Then we have pump plus 4B is equal to 11. How much is 1 pack of balloons? So we are going to label these equation 1 and equation 2, and to find the pack of 1B, we're going to do equation 2 minus 1. You'll see you end up with these cancelling out. We've got 4 minus 3. We end up with B is equal to 11 minus 9, which is just simply 2. How much is the pack of balloons? 2. We've got a multi-step problem for question 2. We need to find out the full area to figure out how much peat we need. So garden is equal to 48 times 10, which is going to be 480 meters squared. We know that it comes in 60 kg sacks. 10 kg of peat covers an area of 20 meters squared. So how many kgs of peat do we need? So we know 10 kg covers 20. We need to multiply by 24. So we're multiplying each side by 24 to get 480 here, but that means we also get 240 over here, 240 kg. We need 60 kg sacks though, however. Therefore, all in total, we have to do 240 divided by 60, which gives us 4 sacks that she needs to cover her garden. Question 1 of the NBR section. For all of these nets, which one won't make a cube? Over here. And we can see that in every single one, we have something on either side. Even this one, where it looks like it doesn't have any bases coming outside, we can see that this will sort of wrap around, and then we will get all sides of the cube covered. However, E, if we wrap this all around, you get something that looks like a tube without the sides, but then there's nothing to close off this side. There's too many faces over here. Therefore, the answer would be E. Let's put that in red over here. For question number 2, which one is the odd one out? We can see in every single one, there's always one parallel, and there's always one set of lines that's going to conjoin at some point. You can see that these, if you carried them on, would meet over here. Same with C, they'd meet, D, they'd meet, E, they'd meet. However, B has 2 sets of parallel lines. It definitely can't be for question 3E because they're not overlapping. And the arrow is always facing to a side. It's never pointing to a vertex, so we can't have this either. So it's between B and C. And this arrow will always be in direct contact with the shape that makes the black edge. So you can see that it's touching this, which is making the black edge. However, this one is touching the white and not exactly the bit that has the black edge. Therefore, it has to be B. We know that for question 4, we have to have something that's hatched on the inside so we can get rid of C. And we are going to take over the shape on the right hand side. So we're going to have a pentagon, cross out B, and it's going to go black. So we can cross out A and E. We get D as the answer. Each time we have a 90 degree, we're on question 5, a 90 degree, actually this is going to be a 45 degree clockwise rotation, clockwise. So if it's over here, we're going to go to the top. That means this is going to 45 degree to the right, and we're going to meet something that goes like this. Therefore, we can cross out C and D. Which way are the dots going? Let me just cross this out, erase this so I can see what's going on. And it's going to go sort of a similar way. It's going to travel inwards. It's going to go from here, and it's traveling along the outside. So let's map this. It's going to go from here to the other side, and it's going to come on this flat face over here. And so that is going to travel to where A is. So all these shapes for question 6 have 2 sets of parallel lines. For example, this one and these are parallel. They will never touch. Same with the rectangle and the square. However, A has 1 set of parallel lines. However, you can see that these ones touch. There aren't 2 pairs. Therefore, the odd one out is A. For question 7, if it's horizontal here, it's going to be vertical here. If it's vertical here, then it's going to be horizontal. So let's cross out A and E. And we have, if it's over here, the exact same shape, the exact same square. It doesn't change anything to do with the shading. Therefore, we're going to have the exact same shape again. Definitely can't be D because we need to have a little gap over here. And so this diagonal that's going from the top left to the bottom right is going to stay the same. So we still have top left to the bottom right. So the answer is B. For question 8, it's definitely not A. We need 2 long pieces that it can sit on top of. We see that it continues, and 2 short pieces. So we can get rid of this. And we can't have B because we see that this extends almost 3 block widths. However, we know that this stops at 2 block widths, 1 here, 1 there. D, however, if we place this long rectangle at the base and then pop this one over here, then we get something that looks like the picture on the left, therefore it would be D. For question number 9, if we look through all of them, C, we know we're not going exactly halfway, so it would not look like C. Let's cross it out. And then H this doesn't completely fold over to cover, so we need to see a break between 2 different pieces of paper. This is going to only fall about here. Which is the only one that looks like that? It is A. Question 10, we have some codes here. Let's find what's in common. We have 4, which is at the front, and then 4, which also is the second letter. The only one that happens to is L, and so therefore L is equal to 4. We know that lamp has to be, this has to be lamp. We can get that in small letters, and that also means that this is going to be plan, And so I feel like we have enough of the codes. We know we need to have two L's at the end, so we can cross out A and C. And we found the 2, which is going to be an M. Therefore, we actually have to figure out the code for. If we know it has to be an M at the beginning, and we know that A is 3, then we can put the answer as I, because there is E, because the vowel has to be an I. Question number 11, this magic square. So the totals for each row are the same. 15 plus 5 is 20, 20 plus 12 is 32, and add 2, this is going to be 34. Here we have 14 plus 9 is equal to 23. Therefore, we have to add 11. Then we're going to look at this diagonal. We have 9 plus 3, which is 12. 12 plus 14 is 26. To get to 34, we have to add 8. Focusing on this diagonal, we have 16, this is 19 over here. Add 2 is 21. To get to 34, we need 13. Now we have enough information to do this row. We have 12 plus 8 is 20. This is going to be 33. And then to get to 34, we only need one more. Therefore, this smiley face has to be 1. So let's try and match up parts of this code. We have in common over here, the Y in common. And the only thing I see in common over here is the circles. So if we know that the first letter has to do with the shape inside, we have a square, and which one has the first letter the same? We have X. We know it has to start with X. Let's cross these out. Next up, we have G, that is common in all of them, and that corresponds to most likely the shading at the back, because that's what's common within them. And so if the middle letter corresponds to shading, we know we have to have white, which gives us the F. Therefore, the answer will be X of N, which is C. We're starting off with the verbal reasoning section with question number 1, and it's asking what type of words are all of the following. We can notice here that they all look the same written when you read them left to right, but also right to left. Solos backwards is solos, and we have stats. Wow, they are all, if you know the word, palindromes. So it's always the same when you read them back or front. Question number 2, we cannot make the word resigns, because if you notice, it's asking for 2 S's, and we don't have 2 S's here that we can work with. Therefore, the solution is C. So for question 3, we are going to make a family tree, and we're starting off by saying Emmett is Conleth's mother's brother, and William is over here. So we're going to start off by saying E for Emmett, and we know it's the brother of mother. We don't know her name, and we give birth to Conleth. Now, this mother, and there is a father of Conleth, and we know that this father has a father who is William, because it says that William is Conleth's father's father, and Alistair is William's son. So William had the Conleth's father and Alistair. Let's write that in over here. So now that we've drawn our family tree, let's see over here. The only thing that seems to be correct is William is Conleth's grandfather. We have father, grandfather. Solution is A. Using, for question number 4, the words from nostalgic, make a 5-letter type of dance. So this type of dance is, you can't make lingo and tango. Lingo and canto are all types of, they're not dances. Latino is a race/ethnicity, and Gaelic is a language, sort of like Gaelic. I think that's what the old word was for it. So the only dance is going to be tango. For question 5, we need to find the consonant that appears most. So we have the consonants. I can see H, I can see R, I can see L and T and Y. So how many do these appear? We're going to count them. H appears 1, 2, 3. 3 times. R appears 1, 2, 2 times. Remember, we're finding most frequently. L is 1, 2, 3, 4. T is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then lackey. And then Y, I see 1, 2, 3. We can see that the consonant most used is going to be T, which has a frequency of 5. For question 6, I'm going to mark the amount of syllables I hear. We have determination. How many syllables is that? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 syllables. That is going to give us solution A. Question 7, we have something of this snake coagulates the blood. When I hear snake, I think of venom. And we can clearly see that this word starts with a V, which gives us C. For question 8, identify the auxiliary verb. What does auxiliary verb mean? When we have the past tense, we have auxiliary verb plus the past participle. So had eaten, had fought. So what does this look like? We know it's going to be had, but then let's find it, because over here it's she had drunk it before we arrived. You need the auxiliary verb, and it makes it different to the other tense. She drunk it before we arrived, or she drank it. So see how the two words change depending on whether you have an auxiliary verb or whether you don't. Question 9, we have a 4-letter word hidden in the sentence, and I can see over here there's a 4-letter word, raft, R-A-F-T, and then that means the word ends with the letter D, T, so solution D. Question number 10, what's the word that should complete this word in capital letters? It's 3 letters. So the newborn calf was unsteady on its legs. If you've ever seen a cow being born, they're quite knobbly, or like Bambi's legs are quite unsteady. So what do we have? We have unsteady. We need to have T. That's our 3-letter word, so we have E. For question 11, I'm going to write down an alphabet that's going to help us. So after we have this written over here, let's try and find the pattern. So O to P is going to be the next letter over. All of them start with D, so we can go on to the next one, which is going to give us a better clue. P to R is going to be 2 over, therefore H 2 over is going to be J. So we need to have D and J. We can cross out B, C, and D. I think I'm starting to see a pattern. E to H is 1, 2, 3, so we're going to have to plus 3 instead. So A, we're going to have to plus 3, 1, 2, 3. We have D, K, D. Oh, D, J, D over here, which gives us E. Question 12, let's find the pattern over here. T, Z is to W, V. So T is here and Z is there, is to W, V. So T to W is 1, 2, 3. That's plus 3. And then Z to there is 1, 2, 3, 4. We have minus 4. Okay. F plus 3, 1, 2, 3 is going to give us I, and then L minus 4 is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4. We end up with H, therefore the answer is going to be D. Let's try and move a letter for question 13 from here to there, and I'm going through the letters. Double N wouldn't make sense. It seems that K is the only one we can take out to put in here, and that would become not. Therefore, the answer is C.